Just like before, I choose a view that allows me to create the shape in the easiest and most straightforward way with the minimum number of commands. From the front view, I'll create the sketch I see here on the front plane. So I enter the Part module, enter the sketch on the front plane, and draw this sketch. Using the midpoint line tool, I start from the origin to draw the sketch symmetrically. I make these two equal to each other. A size of 100 millimeters and a size of 50 millimeters. And an offset of 10 millimeters. Towards the inside, with cap ends enabled and set to lines. Well, again, like the previous exercise, I won't exit the sketch. I go to the Features tab and select the Extruded Boss command. And I extrude my sketch 200 millimeters. Here I enter the value 200. But this time, to maintain the symmetry principle we discussed earlier, in the Direction 1 section, I select the Mid-Plane option. This way, SolidWorks automatically adds 100 millimeters of volume on each side, 100 millimeters in this direction, and 100 millimeters in the opposite direction. So the sketch ends up exactly in the middle of the created shape. Then I click OK. Now you can see the right plane is back in symmetry, and the front plane is also aligned with the symmetry. As you can see, we didn't add the fillets inside the sketch. Now I create them using the feature commands. A fillet with a radius of 5 for these edges, and a fillet with a radius of 10 for the inner corners. From the Features tab, I select the Fillet command. Select the first type. I set the radius to 5 millimeters, and in this selection box here, I choose the items I want to apply the fillet to. Notice the difference. In a sketch, fillet is applied to vertices, but in the Features tab, we select edges, or faces, to apply the fillet. If I select a face, SolidWorks automatically applies the fillet to all the edges connected to that face. If I select a single edge, it applies the fillet only to that specific edge. Here, I choose Full Preview, so we get a yellow preview of how the fillet will look before confirming it. I apply the fillet with a radius of 5 millimeters for this edge, and this edge. I select OK to complete the command. Again from the Features tab, using the Fillet command. This time I create a fillet with a radius of 10 millimeters for this corner. And this corner. The question that comes up is, what's the difference between applying a fillet in the Features tab versus the Sketch tab? If you notice, the fillet we applied here appears as a separate feature in the feature tree. Whenever we want, we can right-click on the Fillet feature and choose Edit Feature to reopen the command and change its value. However, if we had applied the fillet inside the sketch, editing it would have been much harder. So, depending on whether we'll need to edit or change the fillet later, we decide whether to apply it in the sketch or as a feature in the Features tab.